What's something that sounds like a conspiracy theory but is actually true? The Greenbrier Bunker. People love conspiracies about huge underground complexes built for the rich and famous to survive nuclear fallouts. Think Denver Airport, and that's exactly what Greenbrier is. The bunker was built under the Greenbrier Resort for Congresspeople to escape to, and was kept a secret for 30 years, even though people suspected why is there a 7,000-foot airstrip for a town of 3,000 people? For the entire time it was functional, every congressperson was assigned a bunk. These days you can take tours, and I'm sure we'll hear about the next bunker once it's defunct. That the US government actually had a paranormal unit. That movie, The Men Who Stare at Goats? It was based on a true story. The US military was actively trying to see if they could find people with skills like stopping the heart of a goat, or dowsing, or psychic spying. The whole thing pretty much fell apart when it was deemed that the people participating were not very effective. If you have to stare at a goat for hours in order to get it to fall over and die, how are they supposed to make use of it for assassinations? But bottom line, it did exist. Same with the Nazis having a paranormal unit during the 40s. Hitler believed in acquiring the Spear of Destiny because he believed it would help him win the war, along with other occult stuff. That's partly what the Wolfenstein games have made popular. The UK government secretly tested biological weapons on its own coastal towns to see how far they could make it inland. The Pentagon has an insane number of bathrooms because as they were building it, the segregation of bathrooms ended. The CIA fed unreasonable amounts of drugs to people to document the effects and search for new weapons. I can't imagine taking heroic doses of LSD and then getting grilled by government scientists for days. Many prisons in the US are private, for-profit companies. They get paid by the head and also employ the prisoners for pennies per hour to do work like telemarketing. You've probably talked to a prisoner on the phone without realizing. In the 60s and 70s, thousands of Native American women were sterilized without their consent as part of a practice to sterilize poor and minority women to help their financial situation and their families' quality of life by preventing unwanted pregnancies in poor communities. Some were not informed at all and had it done to them completely without their knowledge. Others were threatened with having their health care taken away if they did not agree to have it done to them. Some studies estimate that as many as 25-50 of Native American women were sterilized in the 1970s, representing tens of thousands of victims. This is essentially a modern-day genocide in the United States. The McDonald's PR machine tried to ruin Stella Liebeck's life. That coffee was so hot it melted her clothing to her genitals. People still believe she was at fault. I turn it around and ask how they'd feel if a parent accidentally spilled coffee on their child that was so hot it melted the child's clothes to his body. Somehow it usually wakes people up. That the Ministry of Information in the UK spread misinformation that eating lots of carrots could improve night vision during WW2. They made this up to confuse the Germans. They had a new radar tech that allowed them to pinpoint German bombers from greater distances than before, and the carrot story was a ruse. That said, I don't know what's true on the internet these days, so I'm half waiting for the comment that this story in itself was a ruse. The US and the UK conspired to overthrow Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh and restore the autocratic regime of the Pahlavi monarchy. They did this because Mossadegh tried to nationalize Iran's oil industry. A main ingredient in the flavor of Coca-Cola still only comes from processing cocoa leaves into cocaine. The extract goes to the Coca-Cola flavor profile, and the cocaine that is produced as a byproduct gets sold to the health industry for medicinal use. There is only one company in the US authorized to do this that has had a special arrangement with the DEA for nearly 100 years. https://wikipedia.org Wikistep and Company. The CIA funded and organized the overturn of several South and Central American socialist governments. I'm surprised that I haven't seen Operation Paperclips://Wikipedia.org Wiki Operation Paperclip yet. After defeating the Nazis, the US government gave 1,600 of them government jobs here. The US Public Health Service chose not to treat 400 African American with syphilis in Alabama, so they could study the progress of the disease if untreated. GM, IBM, and Ford played a major role in rearming Germany in the 1930s. George Bush's grandfather, Senator Prescott Bush, was a director and shareholder of companies that profited from their involvement with the financial backers of the German forces. Almost everything the CIA did in the 60s and 70s. https://Wikipedia.org Wiki Phoenix program. Lots of 1970s serial killers were Vietnam veterans literally taught the art of murdering, terrorizing civilians by the US military. The war always comes home in some form or another. The CIA once funded artists to create abstract art as a way to combat communist propaganda. Gulf of Tonkin incident, confirmed decades later by the ex-Secretary of Defense as being entirely false, consequences of the incident were utterly appalling. The chemicals in the water are turning the frogs gay. Atrazine, a chemical produced by the pesticide company Syngenta, has been proven to mess with the endocrine system of frogs and turn them into hermaphrodites, and can even cause them to display homosexual behavior, preferring the company of other male frogs rather than females ones. It can also cause prostate cancer and birth defects and is in the drinking water of several states, so yeah, there's that too.